the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
Welcome to Media Mothership here, broadcasting out of Edge Radio Studios in Nipaluna, Hobart, Tasmania. And we're also streaming on edgeradio.org.au, YouTube and Twitch. Just search for Media Mothership. You can message us on 048888 11707. 0488 if you'd like to SMS us live in the studio. Or you can hit us up on the chat on YouTube or Twitch at Media Mothership. I'm your host, Dr. Craig, potentially joined in the future by my co-host, Lord Taylor. We'll see if he can get petrol for his car. Today's show, we've got regular news segment to start off, then a deep dive into the next episode of Superman. We'll be asking, can the Australian Superman actually be a culturally significant moment in radio production? This came out in 1949. Over 1,000 episodes were produced, each running 15 minutes out of Sydney radio station 2GB. And so far there's 4 episodes circulating. We've listened to the first 2, the origin story of Superman in Krypton, as he escaped that dying planet. Then we heard his first adventure last week when he emerged fully grown after arriving from Krypton, as opposed to the more modern version where he grew up on the Kent farm. Here he decided to become a reporter after quizzing 2 people he saved. So anyway, all that and more coming up here on Media Mothership on Edge Radio. All right, welcome back. I am trying some different cool tunes. Let's start first by going over some interesting news articles. One of the first ones that I came across out of Eurogamer headlined Roblox studio boss, children making money on the platform isn't exploitation, it's a gift. So this is the Roblox studio boss saying that a child could be 15 in Indonesia, living in a slum, and with just a laptop create something and make money to sustain life. So it's an interesting piece. If you've not ever encountered Roblox, here's a little sample from their PS5 4 launch. That kind of sets some of the scene.
Legendary, the queen of the ring. Look at me, I'm supreme in this thing. Have my back against the ropes now. They are telling me I'm done.
Yeah, so if you can't tell by that music, Roblox is a platform where mostly children, I guess, young adults, can create and monetize games using in-game currency, the Robux. And it's it's got a kind of building dimension, Lego creation dimension. It's got some of the aesthetics are very similar to Roblox. Very similar to Minecraft. But in 2021, the article goes on to say, the Eurogamer article goes on to say that People Make Games went on to accuse Roblox of exploiting young developers by taking a large cut of the earnings that these young players were getting as they were creating in Roblox. So Roblox pays developers in Robux, so that's spelled Robux, which can be cashed out at a rate of $3.50 US for 1,000 Robux. So if you generate 1,000 Robux, that's the in-game currency, you can cash it out into US dollars, $3.50. But the economy of that is a little skewed. If you look at how much it will cost you to buy 1,000 Robux, so in-game you can use that currency to buy, in-game items, that costs $12.50 US. So while you can cash out 1,000 Robux for $3.50, to buy that equivalent amount in-game would cost you $12.50. So that's an insane markup or loss rate, depending on which way you're coming at it. So Roblox, studio head, you don't have your Yeah, it's my co-host. Roblox studio head Stefano Corazza defends the platform, emphasizing the opportunities it provides for young developers worldwide. The average Roblox developer is in their 20s, but the platform has hired teenagers who gain theater of the mind here, people. Success on their platform. Roblox focuses on teaching coding skills and empowering users to become professionals in the tech industry. We're now joined live in studio by my co-host, Lord Taylor. How are you, Lord Taylor?
Yeah, hey, I'm great.
Oh, okay.
How
Well,
you got?
there you
There
go.
we go.
Why isn't that?
That sounds weird. Testing. Okay.
Oh, right. That's weird. Guest.
Does this
Oh,
one-
well,
oh.
yeah. No. Sorry. Yep. I'm using the right mic now.
Okay.
It's a bit of a
A bit of a
buzz.
little buzzy beetle in the background. It sounds like.
Yeah. That's intriguing. That intrigues me.
Please text in if you can hear that buzzing sound as well.
Well, because you could try going on that mic.
And it doesn't buzz.
No.
Hello.
Yeah, that
Okay.
one's really nice.
Yeah, that is nice, isn't it?
That's odd. All right. Well, live radio people. Sadly, yeah, you're not kind of in camera as well. But well, we'll push on. We'll push on.
Okay.
So yeah, have you ever done Roblox?
I have tried it, but I tried Minecraft first, and Minecraft is just better than Roblox.
Really? In what
That
way?
I feel.
Isn't there more variety? You can kind of do tons of different types of games
In which one?
in Roblox.
Well, I haven't played it that much. I just spawned in and walked around, and it wasn't as good as Minecraft, but sort of being like Minecraft. So I was just like, okay, fine, Minecraft's better.
Well, I guess there's a mouse there if you want to look at the article. So the article
Yeah.
we're looking at the moment is Roblox studio boss. I guess that's the interesting thing about Roblox, that it has received attention for exploiting kids because they can create levels in the game or things in the game that then they can generate Robux for, and they can cash that out into real world money. But the exchange rate is dreadful, right? I mean, they use the example here for 1,000 Robux, you can cash that out for $3.50 US. But to buy that equivalent number of Robux, it will cost you $12.50. So that's like 3 times as much, or a little more. So I guess, as opposed to Minecraft, because of that economy, it is a double-edged sword in terms of, really that's slave wages, you could argue.
Is it more like Minecraft in the fact that you can go onto Patreon or something like that, and someone's put assets on there, and then you upload it to your own game? Or does it have to be on an online sort of
I'll have to get. I have someone on the inside, a family member that I've implanted in the world of Roblox, and he's been doing undercover, hard hitting investigative work there. So I do want to bring him in the future episode. But let's move on now to the next story, which is Red Dead Redemption 2. Audio bloopers unearthed in game files. So this is a nice little article talking about how a gamer was searching through Red Dead Redemption 2. I imagine it's the PC version to be able to get into the actual file architecture.
They have to be, yeah.
And he came across these behind-the-scenes bloopers in the audio files. So in one of these folders, he found their audio files there, and he started to listen to them. And it's charming. If you look at the YouTube for it, where he's uploaded it, he talks about how it offers a real glimpse into this very secretive process, often of Rockstar's creative process. Because there'll be bloopers where the actor that plays the main protagonist in Red Dead Redemption 2, the actor Benjamin Davis, slips out of character and swears as he gets his line wrong. And the other characters, you can hear their footsteps. They're on this kind of recording stage with the motion capture devices, I think. And you can hear their movements as they're walking around, kind of acting theatrically the scene out, as well as some unused lines from the game. And Rockstar's currently, of course, in the moment getting a lot of press because they're working on the next Grand Theft Auto game, GTA 6.
Oh, wow.
Which has no release date yet. I'll listen. I'll play a little bit of it. I'll see if I can cue it up to the scene where he swears. So,
Of course.
Language warning. Language warning, maybe. Where is this? Around here?
And you get Micah out of that jail.
Oh, where is it?
Strawberry. And there's talk of hanging him.
Here's hoping. Arthur, what? The fool brought this on himself. You know my feelings about him, Dutch.
You think I can't see... And you're wrong. You think I can't see past his bluster to the heart inside? He is a fine man.
So they're doing a
wild,
couple of different
Dutch.
takes.
He's a warrior. I'm asking. I can't go... I cannot go
So
to
he
a
slips up
sheriff's
his line
station.
there.
Fuck me. Sorry. Arthur, fine man.
No, I ain't say...
There it was. Yeah. Okay. I timed that well. Yeah. So, but it's interesting, isn't it? Like you've got a disc, you play, or in this case, it's probably the PC port, and you're playing it. And normally, Rockstar very polished products, but I do love it when a fan just starts going through the files, trawling through, spending hours and hours and hours, and then comes across these blooper reels. Normally in movies, of course, at the end credits, you'll have blooper reels, but Rockstar doesn't really do bloopers, from what I've experienced. So it's a fun little story of, this guy coming across with the blooper reels, posting it up, and he has these nice kind of commentaries about the kind of rehearsal process or the editing process that provides some insight into. He's also set it against quite a bit of work that this fan's done. He set it against the scene, which these
that it's from.
audio
Yeah.
dubs are from, because they're from one particular submission side quest thing that you're doing. So yeah, we're tracking down if you're a huge fan. I want to see a bit of behind the scenes. There's one other. So the next story, I'll play the music now that I've chosen to break topics.
The Sting, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a real classic. It's the "We'll Be Right Back" sting. So
I like that one.
pretty good. Yeah. So Kotaku reported recently a former GTA San Andreas developer has now gone on to explain the suicidal photographer and crashing planes in, I think this is San Andreas?
So this is in-game.
Yeah. So now we have the real story behind and details behind two famous and popular GTA myths. So this was from former Rockstar North developer Obi Vermigi.
Obi-Wan.
The same, who was sharing some insights into the development of past GTA games, including why planes in GTA San Andreas would crash near the player. So it goes on to say that the crashes were due to small section of code that checked for obstacles in the path of a plane, but sometimes missed tall, thin objects like trees or power poles. And that these crashes led to numerous funny moments in people speedrunning the game. Or let's plays or random sessions in San Andreas. So the collision detection bug also caused planes to crash more often than intended. And there's also this NPC in GTA San Andreas who would take a photo and then walk off a cliff due to attractors that NPCs head towards once they've completed a scripted activity. All right, so this NPC, like all NPCs, it's a bit like that movie with Ryan Reynolds, the NPC one he acts as. This
Oh yeah, Free Guy.
Free Guy, yeah. So there's scripting for each of these NPCs, and clearly for this poor photographer's case, he would perform his action, which is to take a photo, but then the attractor, right? So that's particular coding that all NPCs would have for what to do next, would cause them to walk off the cliff as the next activity, which was not intended. The final point that this article points out is that the ghost cars in San Andreas, which were an illusion caused by cars spawning on steep hills and rolling down the slope. So I guess it was cars no one was driving, but cars would spawn into the game, and if they were on a steep hill, the car would just start looking as if it's driving. but it's
yeah.
not. It's just not. It's not got brakes, and fascinating.
It is.
Have you ever played any GTA games? Looked at some of the weird, random, emergent gameplay that's in there.
Well, the only GTA game I've played is the newest one. Not the one. That,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one there's
5.
3 protagonists that you kind of play as.
But I've only played the online version,
Oh,
and most of the time when you go into the online version,
so you've not played the story mode?
Not really. Not interested.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm not a fan.
I like to be my own character and knock people down.
You get trolled,
yeah. That
you get,
I don't like that part.
you
of
know,
it.
killed. Okay, go
Yeah.
on.
I don't like that part. Of it.
We could, yeah. I've always wanted to do as part of Media Mothership, investigative journalism piece in the world of GTA. Right? You know, I'd call you, like you'd be at home playing GTA Online. I'd be here doing GTA Online somehow with this technology. Possibly wouldn't run too well, but anyway. Then we'd do an interview. There's this great, I don't think I've got it as one of the articles here, but there's a great article I came across during, I think it was COVID, where these 2 guys in Britain who were actors performed Hamlet, various Shakespeare plays in GTA. And there's YouTube of them, you know, in world, right, in the online game of GTA, and they go to the wherever the equivalent of the bowl is, the performance kind of bowl space, the Hollywood Bowl kind of space.
Globe Theatre.
Globe Theatre, that's it. And they would start performing Shakespeare in their character, and then they'd announce it. 1 or 2 people would come up in the stage, and they'd start performing, and then they'd start. The audience would start killing themselves, shooting themselves, and then the police would come in the game, and the police would start firing on the actors. Yeah. I'd like to do that
Yeah, that sounds good.
on radio or something.
Yeah, whole 6 hours of a Shakespeare play.
All right. The next story I want to briefly cover, is okay. So there's 2 stories here. Actually, the later one, the Meta AI one, the next one across, is the one. That's the one I came across first. So the headline for this from The Verge is Meta AI image generator can't imagine an Asian man with a white woman. And the subheading is, I tried dozen of times to generate an image of an East Asian man with a white woman. Meta AI's image tool refused. We tried to do that in the studio, at Edge yesterday, but unfortunately, I think it's region locked or something. My
That's
account
true, yeah.
got blocked. Maybe it's because something else. Okay, so Meta AI's image generator, much like other generators, you put prompts in, T-Rex playing a guitar, and it will, in the style of an impressionist painting, and it will generate that. In this case, Meta AI's image generators, so this is from the Facebook guys, struggled to generate images of an East Asian man with a white woman, often returning images of 2 Asian people instead. Mm-hmm. The system also leaned heavily into stereotypes. The author Mia Sato says, such as adding a bindi and sari to South Asian women. Meta's tool consistently represented Asian women as East Asian looking with light complexion. So rather than Indian or subcontinent, well, again, I'd say that's more subcontinent. I mean, she goes in the article and says India failed to appear, but I mean, from an Australian perspective, I'd always term that space as the subcontinent and Asia more as, your East Asia space. But it seems that, Asia can be quite a broad general term that can include a huge geography. So she was saying, Meta's training clearly, however, is East Asia based in terms of Chinese.
And if you go to
Korean.
North Asia, it's Siberia and places like that.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, it also interestingly generated older Asian men, but the Asian women were always young. Mm-hmm. And interestingly, in the comments I was reading for the article, a guy said, it's probably because these were trained on Asian gossip magazines, which would always have older Asian celebrities with their young starlets or dating interests at the time. So they will say it just reflects the kind of gossip industry material
Yeah,
from the Asian entertainment space.
looking at it, it is quite, magazine covery.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it does look like, one of those South Korean K-pop
Always have to
gossip
bring it back to
mags,
that.
man. Midas tool, yeah. So it generates several older, yep. So the system performed slightly better when specific South Asian people were requested. So if you
Gandhi.
started to know, well, they didn't do Gandhi, but if you ask for specific narrow geographies, in particular, they have one example there of they were unable to get what was it, Asian man with black woman. Something was it Asian woman with black woman? It's one of the prompts they talk about. Yeah, Asian
that's
woman
one.
with black friend. But they constantly got 2 Asian women instead. But when they changed the prompt to Asian woman with African American friend, it did generate a African American.
Again, I think that is well, not again, because I didn't say this on air, but I said this back in where we were before. It's to do with the prompt engineer not being specific enough, I think.
Yeah, look, I think there's some limitations.
Because if you look at Asian woman with black friend, the skin color is darker, even though she's Asian. And then African American is like a specific section of race, and so therefore it has produced that. Whereas if when they wanted to do South Asian people, if they said from India, from Bangladesh, it might then do what they want it to do, rather than having such a wide range of ethnicity that they're using.
And I find unless you're constantly refreshing the prompt screen, you're often going to get it repeating what it's previously generated. Certainly I find that with text questions, that if you're not breaking the conversation link entirely and refreshing it, it starts to just refer back to previous answers, which you've gone on a complete tangent. You might start with, how to build a house, and it gives you some suggestions, and then you might move into, what does Superman eat for breakfast? And then all of a sudden it's talking about how Superman can build a house. And it's like, well, no, but it's kind of stuck in this conversation loop. So similarly here, I'd say, if she's been generating one image after another image without refreshing, it could also have a problem. What I like about this is, so she started with the Meta AI. Then the next article, a few days later, is she now goes into Instagram, talking about how AI-generated Asians were briefly unavailable on Instagram. So she says, after they reported that Instagram AI's image generation was making weird mistakes around race, the tool temporarily returned an error message today. So this was, again, the same author from the investigation to Facebook, reporting that Instagram's AI image generator was creating racially inaccurate images. So when they were creating this before Instagram took that tool off, the AI image generator was making everyone Asian, regardless of what text prompt she was putting in. Then the next day, the author encountered the opposite problem, that they were completely unable to generate any Asian people using the same prompt she'd done the day before. So an error message then appeared instead of the expected images after a while, saying, looks like something went wrong, please try again later or try a different prompt. So the same company, so it's Meta as well. So Meta, the company also behind Instagram, did not respond to the author's questions for comment or explanation. After some time, the Instagram feature started working for simple prompts like Asian man, but still had issues with more complex prompts. I imagine like Asian man with white wife, woman.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next startling unavailability of it feels like this journalist is on a crusade. 2 articles within 2 days. Similar prompts, it seems.
Instagram AI would still just be Meta AI, wouldn't it?
It is still, owned by the same company. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to the sound effect quickly.
Eric Andre show.
It is like that, isn't it? I must have just grabbed that from the free thing because that's what he plays. All right. The next article is over here. It's this one. It's a funny one. Again, AI generation is what it's talking about. This one is going on about how after an AI generated porn report, the Washington Lottery pulls down an interactive web app. User says promo site put her uploaded selfie on a topless woman's body. So this is a really fascinating article in terms of, so there's a lottery in Washington, like lotteries happen all the time, and part of it featured this website it seems you could go to and...
Test Drive or Win.
Yeah, Test Drive or Win website, and the article says it was designed to help visitors visualize various dream vacations they could pay for with the theoretical lottery winnings. So I guess you take a photo of yourself, you upload it to the site, and then it will generate the fantasy dream vacation that you could go to. But in this case, this 50-year-old woman did this, and she then tells we should set this up as our own radio, told conservative Seattle radio host Jason Rantz that the image of her swim with the sharks dream vacation, so I guess she chose that as the prompt or something.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, who knows. On the website showed her face then, so the AI got it. She uploaded her selfie. The AI then generated what it felt was going to be the swim with the shark dream vacation, which turned out to be a woman sitting on a bed with her breasts exposed. The background of the AI image showed a bed at some sort of aquarium, complete with fish floating through the air and sprawling underseas, with her awkwardly sitting there, but with her head on it, on this naked torso girl. Yeah, and this led to her saying, what's going on here? Why is this happening? And they've just pulled it.
Understandably.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's outrageous, though, isn't it? I mean, they that it was generating pornography. I mean, that's everyone's fear that you have these deep fakes and so forth.
It's just, but it says, I can't remember where I read it, but I was reading it before, that they said they worked with the AI company to make sure that this sort of stuff wouldn't happen. Well, they obviously didn't do it well enough.
Totally.
And when it comes to things like, because I use, what's it called? Stable Diffusion, there's a little sort of bit of code in there which then runs it past all of these different things, and if it has any trace of anything that could even be slightly like this, it turns it off, turns it black.
Yeah.
So you can't see it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how this happened.
It seems like a huge failure. Yeah. So now moving on to, we talked a little bit about an interesting article by Andrew Tate. Oh, God. Yeah, look, I wasn't through it. I don't really want to get it any more airtime, press. Yeah, but it is a phenomenon facing some teachers. I mean, for me, the interesting thing about this ABC News article, Andrew Tate's ideology driving sexual harassment, sexism, and misogyny in Australian classrooms, was this idea that one of the spaces that you can see the, I guess, the kind of experimenting with toxic masculinity is in classrooms, and that one of the spaces which are struggling at the coalface of being able to negotiate the impact of toxic masculine spaces, like Andrew Tate, on young men, boys, is classrooms. I mean, you're currently doing your master's in education.
Yeah.
You've been sent to schools, right? Bat signal type. Bat signal comes up and like, you got to send Taylor to, that school. And yeah, you said, you've encountered.
I have encountered it, and like if you look on the Australian teachers subreddit and stuff like that, it is rampant everywhere. And even just like teachers subreddit, which is teachers all around the world, it's also rampant on there as well.
Because the article goes on to describe, I interview one ex-teacher, sadly, who was a
teacher?
She was a new teacher. Like she was starting her career as a teacher, and she gave it up because of the harassment she received in school. And she describes this as being, asking for what her age was, making inappropriate questions, asking personal questions about my age or appearance, and then not feeling supported in the school environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, saying you've just got to learn techniques to handle the problem. Yeah. That felt very out of country there. Moving on to Superman. So we're going to set up the next half of this show, but there is some news about Superman, interestingly. The first one is, that one. Is that a $64,000 letter reveals a very different Superman we almost got. So, what's interesting here is, Superman 1938 or 30s came out. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the
Not Jerry Springer, as you always say.
creative talent behind Superman. Interestingly, though, there's a letter which was sent out by Jerry Siegel for a different artist, Russell Keaton, to come on board. And, they're saying it would have been a slightly different take on Superman at that stage. It would have, the artwork would have looked different, for instance, than, what happened later. What's interesting to me, I guess, about this is that the fact that there's a letter talking about this proposed Superman deal has been auctioned, right? That it's an auctionable item.
A
right?
letter.
Yeah. And one of the real tragedies of the Superman story is, of course, is the very limited amount of money that they received from the DC, or what became DC Comics, when they sold the rights to Superman. That it was, I think it was, I forget what the total was. I think it's the equivalent of around, a few $1,000s today. But given the amount of money it went on to make, and even worse, so now you have these letters. I mean, I guess what the significance of this is that it's this what if letter. What if
If it had
this
been
became,
a different fella,
it's kind of Fifth Beatle kind of thing, but it does show you the significance of Superman, that even something like that is a significant moment. And of course, the other one, of course, is what really does generate the income or the sense of Superman's impact, which is that Action Comics #1 has been sold again at auction to again be seen as the most expensive comic ever sold. I think it was. Does it say how much it sold for?
It was something like 3 million and 6 million or something like that. I
I
saw it just then, but I lost it now. Yeah.
$6 million. Yeah. So, and again, I remember seeing this episode of Kevin Smith's Comic Book Men documentary or series where they go into a comic book collector who has this Superman #1. And the request that one of the comic book store members has is to smell it. So he takes it out of its protected cover, and the guy puts his nose in it and smells it.
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah, that's it." Yeah. I mean, comic books do have can have a really musty smell that triggers.
So why would you want that? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be careful. I mean, if it's been now, this one has been valued at $6 million, you wouldn't want to sneeze. Just breathing into it.
But there's more than one copy, isn't there?
Oh yeah. But again, the reason why it gets 6 million is there's not many, given how many were initially produced and what Superman went on to become. That number one, I mean, it was considered trash culture at the time and disposable.
Has it been republished?
Oh yeah. Number one has been republished, but yeah, I mean that original printing, that first run, is I guess what literally makes it collectible.
Yeah.
That it's a limited run, much like any collectible pop culture item. It's because it only is available in a small number, and it's a particularly important title for the history of superheroes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, and it's referred to even like I remember seeing an episode of Sliders. Do you ever watch this science fiction TV series? It involved this multiverse idea where our heroes were traveling multiverses of Earth, and each Earth would be a slightly different variation of this Earth, and they'd get up to a moment of hijinks and so forth. Anyway, there was one version of Earth they landed on, which was the 1930s version of this alternate Earth, and one of the characters takes this issue of Superman because he sees it on this comic book shelf as this,
Fair enough.
get rich quick.
6 million.
Today. All right, so let's now go into
The world of Superman.
World of Superman. Yep. So as we've been setting up over the last 3 weeks, we've been exploring the Australian radio version of Superman. First aired back in 1949, and it lasted 5 years. It wrapped up in 1954.
This one isn't consecutive to the one that you played.
No, this I think this is episode 752. There's the number 752 here. So given there were 1,040 episodes made, this is, I guess, towards the end of that run.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's still 300 episodes
There's
to go.
300 left to go, 50-minute episodes. So this stars, of course, Leonard Teale, who became one of Australia's most fondly remembered actors from the 50s. He was famous mainly for his performance in the television series Homicide, but here he plays Superman and received a lot of acclaim for this. Mm-hmm. He's local Brisbane boy. And we'll try to hear on this the cultural adaptation. I'm mostly curious to see how the script's all from the US, how this is recorded in Australian voices.
Yeah.
So we'll just play a little bit because I know in 15 minutes we've got K-Pop Unlimited and we do want to spend a bit of time promoting that. But okay, so yeah, cultural adaptation, obviously child-friendly content. So let's hear here the setup of it. What I like is maybe it's the way the narrator says Superman is the most Australian.
Yeah.
Superman. And now, Superman. Mighty being from space, stronger than steel, free to roam the world on his lone patrol for the benefit of mankind. Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, finds himself unable to reveal his true identity and so forestall disaster as he, Lois Lane, and young Ralph Marlowe wait for Matt Gulden's deadly trap to be sprung.
So what's interesting here is it's not really a supervillain they're facing. It's a trap that's been created.
Sprung.
Yes, to get them.
When did Gulden say the logs would be started downriver?
In less than half an hour, Mr. Kent. If the gem up here, the whole shack will be swept away, with us in it.
But why? The shack's on the bank of the river.
We're less than 10 feet from the water, Miss Lane. And when logs pile up, they go everywhere. They shoot up on the bank as much as 100 feet sometimes.
And with Gulden arranging the jam, we'll certainly be in their path.
That's right, Mr. Kent. Unless we get out of here in a hurry, we won't have a chance in the world.
Unaware that they were being led into a trap, Clark Kent and Lois Lane had followed Matt Gulden to an abandoned timber camp on the edge of a river some distance out of town. They were hoping Gulden would lead them to young Ralph Marlowe, whom they believed could help solve the secret of Stone Ridge. However, no sooner had they found Ralph than Gulden reappeared gun in hand and bound Kent, Lois, and Ralph securely to chairs in the rickety old shack. A shack which would certainly be swept away in a log jam which Gulden had already arranged.
So it's kind of dastardly developers. There's, some shenanigans going on in this town out of Metropolis. And Clark Kent, the reporter, Lois Lane. So Lois Lane's there now.
I don't know who she is.
Oh, really? Okay, right. So
Is she also a reporter?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like the classic characters in Superman, obviously is Superman. Then once he becomes the reporter, you got Superman as Clark Kent, and he works with Lois Lane, who's the love interest.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And Jimmy Olsen is the photographer that often appears in most of the adaptations. So the
Never heard of
cinematic
Jimmy
adaptations.
Olsen.
You're really not a comic book fan, nor a superhero.
I've heard of
person,
Lois
are you?
Lane. I've never heard of
Jimmy Olsen.
No.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, he's considered the other main third character, and then you've got Superman's villains. Lex Luthor is probably the most well known, and Brainiac and others.
Brainiac.
Yes.
Who's Two-Face?
Oh, that's in Batman's world, so that's
what-
Batman's villain.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, well, good. I mean, it's good to have someone that
Knows nothing.
knows nothing. You could ask some questions.
Now, as precious moments tick away, Kent tries to think of some way to free himself, some way to resume his true identity of Superman and save Lois and Ralph from death.
If only I wasn't right in front of them. If only they couldn't see me, I could clean up this mess in a minute. There must be some way. There must be.
How long have we been here, Clark? Clark!
Oh, sorry. What did you say, Lois?
I quite like that use of audio to do a introspective thoughts, right? So you have him introspectively thinking, how do I get out of this so I can become Superman? Because I have to keep my alter identity as Clark Kent separate from Superman.
It does hurt the ears a bit, though.
It's a little tinny.
Yeah.
And with a poor quality reproduction,
Yeah.
it's even more difficult. Not too bad.
No.
But yeah, again, it's using that theater of the mind to create a introspective, reflective moments. Because Leonard 2 obviously has to do three voices, right? There's the introspective thoughts of Clark Kent. There's Clark Kent's voice, and then there's when he becomes Superman's voice.
You mean Superman?
Superman. You got to put the break in between soup and then perman.
Superman.
For the Australian, it's only the Australian version that pronounces it like that. The American version, Superman.
Like with Snape in Harry Potter.
Superman. Snape.
No. Expelliarmus.
Yes, that's right. So going on.
I asked you how long we've been here.
Oh, about 10 minutes.
That means in 20 minutes the logs will start rolling downriver.
And how long before they get here?
Not very long. The current's pretty strong and the camp's only a mile or two upstream.
I can't understand how Gulden can arrange for the jam here.
Oh, it's easy. The river's narrow here and not too deep. Anchor a couple of logs in the middle and the rest will pile up against them. Matt used to be a timberman before he started working for Cass Stryker. He knows all the tricks.
Listen, Ralph, exactly what is Gulden's position with Stryker? What does he do?
He's sort of a, right-hand man, I suppose.
Gulden does all of Stryker's dirty work, is that what you mean?
I don't follow you. Cass never did anything underhanded in his life.
And this isn't underhand? Trying to murder us?
What? You don't think Cass put Matt up to do this, do you?
You just said yourself that he was Stryker's right-hand man.
Yes, but Cass doesn't know anything about this. Matt's double-crossing him. He's been doing it for over a year.
Now, wait a minute, Ralph.
You've got to believe me, Miss Lane. Cass is one of the finest men that ever lived. He wouldn't hurt anybody.
Ralph Stryker must know what Gulden is doing.
He doesn't. Honestly, he doesn't. Cass is the kind of person who trusts everybody. He's known Matt for years. They worked in the timber camp together. I tried to warn Cass, but I couldn't get anywhere. He laughed at me.
What about this meeting at the high school and the way the teachers are being persecuted?
Miss Lane, Cass appointed...
Yeah, this one has a subplot about the teachers in this place being underpaid and wanting to strike and complain, but it's all seems to be all beat up. I don't know. There's a couple of red herrings in the story. It's not at all a superhero story. It's a kind of investigative crime story. We'll skip forward a little bit. At the end...
The camp about 10 miles out of town.
What in the dickens are they doing away out there? Get them back here.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, so this is Perry White, the editor at the Daily Planet, which is a newspaper. Unusually, in this radio version, he's also become the mayor of Metropolis. So he's the editor and the mayor, which I think it looks like a conflict of interest to me. Have you ever heard of a editor of a newspaper then also becoming the mayor of a place?
It's a very strange question because you know the answer is no.
It seems, yeah. Again, so this is it's something that the radio version has done, which is different. So let's just the cliffhanger of this episode.
It's a very strong cliffhanger.
When they didn't come out, he started to investigate. Then all of a sudden, a run of logs came down the river, jammed up, tore into the shack, and swept it away.
Swept it away with Lewis and Kent inside?
Yes. Matt says he's sure they're dead.
Cass Stryker's voice trembles as he breaks the news to Perry White. But is it true? Did Golden really see the shack swept away? When we left Lois Kent and Ralph Marlowe, they had just heard the muffled boom of the explosion that released the logs down the river. It is a steep and swift river, and in a matter of minutes the log will cover the distance downstream to the shack, a mere 10 feet from the bank and just 20 feet from where Matt Golden arranged for the logs to bank up. As Golden himself boasted, the logs would come ripping through the shack like pile drivers, crushing everything in their course. And now the rolling and crashing fills the air as the leading logs, in a mad, swirling dance, come nearer and nearer to the spot opposite the shack where they will be jammed.
Listen, the logs are coming down the river. They'll jam up in a minute.
Ralph's warning cry is almost drowned out by the crashing thunder of hundreds of massive logs rolling down the river, piling headlong into the barrier set by Matt Golden. With a splintering, grinding roar, they jam up, one against the other, and as the powerful current presses against them, they jump the riverbank, shooting wildly towards the flimsy shack. As Lois screams, Kent makes a decision.
It's a good scream.
I can't wait another second. I've got to save Lois and Ralph. There! I've broken the ropes.
Now, Superman will take over.
Yeah. So we have that really cool... Oh, is it really cool? Anyway, the change of voice tone, right, from Clark Kent's voice to Superman. This is a job for... It sounds like Globe. This is a job for Superman.
Assumes in a flash his true identity of Superman. The wall of the shack collapses under the pile-driving force of the logs, and Lois and Ralph disappear. Has the Man of Steel waited too long? Has he delayed 1 second too many? We'll know in the next action-packed episode of Superman.
Damn whistle. Yeah, there you go.
The thing that really strikes me about that is that, like, these days you have audio dramas and you have audio books. Yeah. They've tried to do an audiobook audio drama, and so it's just, I think it sounds a bit strange.
What aspects of that do you find a bit audio bookish?
Well, the narration.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a narrator there.
So
could be for a kid's audience.
As I can't remember the characters' names. As
Superman. Okay.
No, this is something along the lines of as somebody cries out, the rush of the logs goes down through the water. In an audio drama, it would just
have that sound effect.
Look, and Lois screaming wouldn't say, and Lois screams. Ah!
I wonder if that's because this is intended for a children's audience, right? I do think this, I mean, if you listen to the classic golden age of radio dramas of this period, the 30s, 40s.
Thing on the foible board.
Yeah, let's get that one back up. He does narrate it, so, he's telling that story, so in a way he's narrating, but it does do a lot of showing rather than telling, but it is, I guess, that issue of the theater of the mind. If you've got a young audience, maybe the creative decision they've made here is to use a narrator.
Yep. It was the wrong decision.
I think you could adapt it. We could create a Hobart Superman.
So who would you play?
I don't know. I've been practicing
Green Goblin.
The soup. Oh, see, again, that's not even DC. That's Marvel. That's just shocking. What have we learned on this episode? A little bit of AI stuff.
A little bit of AI stuff. A little bit of GTA stuff.
Yep. Then we time travel back to 1949 to by that stage actually it's probably the 50s by the time we get to episode 752. And again, not necessarily an Australian accent. It's not a kind of Crocodile Dundee breath. But Superman is probably the most distinctive part of it.
Yeah.
The main actor, Australian actor, does a fine job as performing, a strong male voice, Leonard Teal. Yeah. Who would you play? The narrator?
I'd play Superman, mate.
Do you think you could do that tonal range
of
Clark Kent and then the deeper voice Superman?
Of course I could. And I'd give them all different accents. We'll have like a Welsh Superman.
Well, the American version that we were listening to last week, yes, had an Irish character, and it really did diversify that a lot more. Well, this has been Media Mothership for this week. We'll be going on break for the next 2 weeks as we collect some data from Asia. So we'll see what audio material I can bring back with me. Coming up next, we have K-Pop Unlimited. What's happening on K-Pop Unlimited?
Good music.
Good music. You got any?
You always ask, and it's always good music. Yes. But it is the one that you don't like. So.
$5? I love that one.
No, it's not that one.
Any scandals that we're covering? Any musicians that are in a moment of scandal?
I don't check anything like this.
You do. You just
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have time.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review if you're listening via
a review on TripAdvisor,
podcast, or YouTube. If you have any questions or topic suggestions, write to us via Facebook, Discord, even Discord.
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube,
Skype.
I've got some stuff up on TikTok.
Wow.
Links for today's show will be in the show description on the podcast. Keep listening to Edge Radio. Coming up next is indeed K-Pop Unlimited. Is it still called K-Pop Unlimited?
For now.
For now. There's exciting future awaits. Alrighty. And what are we listening to?
Edge Radio.
Listen to Edge Radio for all your Tassie music needs.
It's time for your Edge Radio recommended album.